Welcome to the Mobile Productivity Show, where mobile professionals find the tips, tricks, and reviews they need to stay productive while on the road. I'm your host, Eric Huddleston. You can reach the show by sending an email to podcast@twoglue.com. That's podcast at the numeral 2, GLUE.com. I'm really excited about the show today. We've got an interesting product that we're going to review. It's actually one of our own here at Two Glue. For those of you that don't follow the blog entries that go along with this podcast, I would encourage you to do that. The blog can be found at blog.twoglue.com/productivity. But for those that haven't been following it, there's a little bit of background story here. So I expressed some frustration on the blog about the current state of my calendar. My calendar is split. It's almost like schizophrenia. I have my Outlook calendar that sits happily at work and collaborates with my coworkers. I have my Google Calendar, which sits happily on the web and collaborates with my family and friends. And then I have my Salesforce.com calendar, which sits happily at Salesforce and helps me to collaborate with the sales professionals that I interact with in sales cycles. So the problem is that at any one time, there's no unified view of where I'm supposed to be and who really owns my time. And so I had embarked on a journey, a quest, as it were, to try to find a solution to that was not disruptive to my current tools and the way that I did things. So I was looking for services, not little apps or plugins for my various applications. I was not successful, which led to the creation of a product called MooseSync. And I think it may bear some discussion that it may have also been precipitated by the fact that my shiny new iPhone wouldn't sync to my Outlook, and so I could not get a decent calendar interface on that device. But we'll pretend that it was all because of the schizophrenic calendar challenge that I had. So while sitting around in a Two Glue development meeting, explaining just in small talk what I was irritated with, one of the developers happily chimed in that the Two Glue core technology was a perfect fit for this particular problem, and proceeded to bang out a service, literally in just a few days, that solved the problem for me, or solved part of the problem for me. So what MooseSync does is uses Outlook's built-in calendar capability to publish your calendar to Google. And of course that solves half of my problem. It doesn't go to Salesforce, but does go to Google. And why it's particularly compelling is that I didn't have to install anything on my Outlook, which is a delicate flower that is not to be trifled with lightly and tends to break on me randomly. So I try to avoid putting any more add-ins or goodies in my Outlook to try to keep it healthy enough to be usable in the short term. So syndicates my calendar out, gets picked up by the MooseSync service, gets de-Microsoftized so that it's usable by Google, and then gets fed directly into the Google Calendar of my choice, where I can view it on my iPhone, or my family and friends can see my availability and what I'm working on at any given time. So without further ado, I will hop right into a walkthrough of the MooseSync application. All we do is log into our account at www.moosesync.com. You're going to get two things when you do that. First is instructions on how to set up Google, and then instructions on how to set up Outlook 2007. We click through the link to authorize MooseSync to access your Google Calendar. No usernames and passwords required. This is a feature of Google's GData API. So you can see here that Google wants
us to authorize www.moosesync.com to access our Google Calendar. We grant that access, and then we're going to be sent back to MooseSync and to our account page where we can configure the calendar that we want MooseSync to use to synchronize our Outlook items to. So in this case, it's going to synchronize to my test calendar, and I could have picked any calendar that I have registered in Google and have write access to. Setting up Outlook 2007 is literally 3 quick steps. What we're going to want to do is get the URL that we need to publish our calendar out of Outlook to. It's right here at the bottom. I'm going to copy that into my clipboard. Then I'm going to go to my Outlook calendar. Here you can see my calendar, and there's an option if I right click on it to publish to internet. One of my options there is publish to a WebDAV server. I'm going to select that. So we're using Outlook's built-in calendar publishing system, so that again, 0 install. I enter the URL to my folder on MooseSync. You should keep this URL private. You don't want other people adding information there. And we can configure exactly what information that we want to provide. So we can say, we want 90 days worth of historical through 90 days of future appointments. We can decide if we only want free busy information, whether we want just the subjects, or if we want all the details. I'll select full details, and then I'll hit OK, and Outlook is now busily pulling up all my calendar entries and publishing them to MooseSync. It'll then ask you if you want to send anybody an email telling you publish a calendar. Of course, you do not. Now then we're done, and we'll go back to MooseSync, and everything's running in the background. And if we give it a few moments and log into our Google Calendar, we will see that we have all of the data that we need. All right, we are back. It's been about 5 minutes. I was able to go get a cup of coffee, and as I've returned to my laptop and navigated in my Google Calendar to the week of August the 19th, I see that my calendar entries from Outlook have synchronized over. Now then, every time that I send receive in Microsoft Outlook, it will update my calendar with any changes or new entries or entries that need to be deleted off of my Google Calendar that it's keeping in sync. Hope that you have enjoyed looking at MooseSync. As you can see, setup is 5 minutes or less, and then it is maintenance free from there on out.